welcome again to another science lesson. My name is Ernest Atto Benter. Kate, we are here again for another interesting lesson. And today we are going to look at one of the life processes of living things. We have done life processes of living things. And we said we have 7 life processes. Today we are going to look at one of the life processes in detail. So, my kids, the topic for today is on kinds of movement in living things. You know that movement is one of the life processes of living things. We all move about. When you are going to school, you move from your house to school. And when you close, you move from school to your house. So every living thing makes some kind of movement. And today we are going to look at the kinds of movement. We don't move the same way. We don't move the same way. So we are going to look at living things and how some of them move. But before we do that, let's mark the assignment on the benefits of amphibians to us. 1. State 3 benefits of amphibians to humans. State 3 benefits of amphibians to humans. 1. Some people eat the meat of frog as food. And in that lesson you saw it. Some people eat the meat of frogs as food. And then 2, frogs and toads eat harmful insects that cause diseases in humans. Frogs and toads eat harmful insects that cause diseases to humans. And then 3, frogs eat rodents that destroy farm crops. Frogs eat rodents that destroy farm crops. So, my lovely kids, I believe you had the answers to these questions correct. Good. Now let's move to today's topic, kinds of movement in living things. Kate, if you pay attention at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to mention at least 2 living things that move by walking. So walking is a type of movement made by living things. Crawling, hopping, climbing, flying, waddling, swimming, leaping. So at the end of the lesson, you'll be able to mention at least 2 living things that move by walking, by crawling, by hopping, by climbing, by flying, by waddling, by swimming, and by leaping. Living things don't move the same way, and these are kinds of movements made by living things. So sit back and enjoy this lesson. We are going to look at how these movements are made by various living things. The first one is that living things move by walking, running, and climbing. So some living things move by walking, running, and climbing. So you see human beings here. We move by walking, running, and climbing. So human beings move by crawling, walking, running, and climbing. These are kinds of movements made by living things, especially humans. So we move by crawling. When you are born as a baby, you crawl on all your 4 limbs like this. So it's a kind of movement. Babies crawl. A baby is a living thing and they crawl. As you move, you stop crawling and you start walking. So we all crawled. Nobody can say that when I was born as a baby, when I started moving, I started by walking. We all crawl. And as you are growing, then you walk. You walk. This is walking. So this is a movement made by humans, walking. We also run. We also run. So this is running. These are all kinds of movements. Sometimes we can also jump. It's a kind of movement made by humans. We can also jump as well as run, as you see on your screen. You can also move by climbing. So you see this person climbing. We normally climb coconut trees. So this man is climbing. So it's a form of movement made by humans, climbing. I believe some of you know how to climb. So this movement is called climbing. And it's a form of movement made by human beings. Can you climb a coconut? So this is climbing. Good. So human beings move by crawling, walking, running, climbing. As I said, we can also move by jumping. Good. Now let's look at animals like cats. They also move by walking and running. Any living things that can walk can run. If you can walk, you can run. So they also move by walking and running. Dogs also move by walking and running. Yes, dogs move by walking and running. Good. And then horses also move by walking. Yes, there's a horse walking. And when they are running, we call it galloping. Galloping. When a horse is running, we call it galloping. So they move by walking or galloping. Good. So horses move by walking and galloping. When they are running, you call it galloping. Goats and sheep also move by walking and running. Goats and sheep, they also move by walking and running, as you see. The goat is walking, as well as the sheep too. The sheep also walk and run. Giraffe move by walking and running. They all move by walking and running. So lot of living things move by walking and running, especially those with 4 limbs. They move by walking. Is cheetah. Mammal. So you know what a mammal is. And the fastest running mammal is cheetah. They can run 110 to 120 kilometers per hour. They can really run. Yes, this is a cheetah. Now let's move to animals that move by birds, move by flying. All animals have wings. They have wings that help them to fly. They have wings. So these are the wings. They have wings that help them to fly. It's an eagle. Bugger. They move by waddling. So penguins, they move by waddling. And we have duck here. Ducks move by waddling. This kind of move, throwing your weight sideways like this. Waddling. So ducks move by waddling. They walk side by side. They move their bodies left, right when they are moving. And we call this kind of movement waddling. So this is not walking. This kind of movement is not walking. Even though they are moving on their 2 feet, but it's not walking. It's waddling. And penguins, they also waddle. Penguin. Obo life kakra. Waddling. So this kind of movement is called waddling. Good. And penguins can also slide. They can slide like this. This kind of movement is also called sliding. They can slide on their chest like this. So this kind of movement is called. So penguins move by waddling and sliding like this. So this is waddling and the other one is sliding. Now let's get to living things that move by swimming. So swimming means that these living things are found in water bodies. So in water bodies, if you are in a water body, then you have to move by swimming, and you need fins to swim. You need fins to swim. So this turtle, this is a turtle. They move by swimming. Turtles don't move using their fin, but they move using, they don't have legs. They don't have legs. These that we see as legs, they are called flippers. Flippers. Because they don't walk on land. They are always found in water bodies. They use these as flippers. They are called flippers. And they use the 4 flippers to swim. So this is a turtle. We saw the tortoise with legs crawling, but they have flippers, and they use the flippers to swim. So turtle move by swimming, and they use their flippers to swim. Fish also move by swimming, and they use their fins and tails to swim. They use their fins and tails to swim. So living things that are found in water bodies move by swimming. Move by swimming. As you see the fishes in the sea, they move by swimming. Good. Now we have talked about the kinds of movement, and you have seen it yourselves, how various living things move. Then the question is it important for living things to move at all? Kate, is there any benefit in movement? Let's look at why the 7 processes, life processes of living things, movement is part. These life processes, if you don't do them, you will die. So let's look at the benefit of movement. The first one is that living things move to find food and water. If you can't move, if you are a human being and you can't move, you are at one place, you can't move, you will die. If you don't get people around you, you will die. How can you find food? Even if you need water to drink, how can you move if you can't move to find water to drink? So you will die. So living things move to find food and water, and that is one of the benefits of the life process movement. Another benefit is that living things move to run away from danger. If you are being chased by a dog, you move. If you see a snake somewhere, quick, you move. So you move to run away from danger, or you move from danger. So if living things were not made to move, then it means you will die. Because if any danger comes to you, how can you run away? So living things move to run away from danger. Then the third one is that living things move to find a place to live. If you can't move, how can you find a shelter? Especially when it's raining. You see people moving here and there trying to find a place to hide so that they will not be beaten by the rain. So we move to find a place to live or find a shelter. So living things move to find a place to live. And then the next one, the living things move to find a partner to mate. When you go to the animal kingdom, we have the male and the female, and before new babies are born, they have to find, a male will have to find a female, or a female will have to find a male before they can mate and then give birth to new babies. So if there were no movement, how can animals reproduce? So movement helps in reproduction. They move to find a mate so that they can reproduce, so that those animals will not go in extinction. You always see them. So animals or living things move to find a partner to mate. We also move to go to school. We move from our houses to go to school. Our parents move from the house to go to work. We move from the house to go to church. We move when our parents sent us on errands, we move. So there are benefits in movement. There are benefits in movement. Good. So these are the benefits. Now, kids, we have come to the end of the lesson, and today we looked at movement in living things. We talked about walking. As you see the dog walking, we talked about crawling. As you see the snail, we talked about hopping and then leaping. We talked about flying. We talked about waddling and then swimming. So these are the kinds of movements made by living things. We also talked about jumping, climbing, and the rest. And they are all kinds of movements made by living things. Good. Now let's test ourselves on this lesson. Identify the name of the movement shown by the animal below. So you look at the movement made by the animal and then you tell me the name of the movement. So here you have sliding, crawling, and waddling. Great, waddling. So the penguin is waddling. 2. Look at the dog. What type of movement is that? We have walking, running, flying. Answer is walking. The dog is walking. 3. What kind of movement is this bee making? What kind of movement is this bee making? Waddling, flying, sliding. Good, flying. Flying. They fly with wings. Yes. 4. Identify the name of the movement. So, what kind of movement is this frog making? What kind of movement? Running, leaping, hopping. Great, leaping. So frogs move by leaping. Frogs move by leaping. And 5. The snail. What kind of movement is made by this snail? Sliding, crawling, walking. Good. Crawling. Good. Kate, you have all done well. You have all done. You had all the answers right. You have done well. So today you have learned about movement in living things. Let me leave you with this homework so that you try your hands on. Mention 2 living things that move by crawling and then walking. So 1, you mention 2 living things that move by crawling or walking. So 2 living things that crawl, 2 living things that walk. And then 2, state 2 benefits of movement to living things. State 2 benefits of movement to living things. Good. Let me give you some few minutes to put this homework down. Hello, Kate. You are welcome back. And I hope you were able to write the assignment down. Make sure you try your hands on. Today we talked about one of the life processes, that is movement. And we looked at the various kinds of movements made by living things, as well as the importance or benefits of movement to living things. I believe you enjoyed this science lesson too, and then you have learned something today. Until I come your way again with another science lesson, this is your teacher, Ernest Ato Bente. Bye bye.